Hi friends, I am here with a very special guest. Eva is my mom-in-love. This little cute fella here is Paco. He is a famous star. Oh, he's giving me so much love. All right, you guys, we are making TiNGA today. It is a very simple dish. It is onions, tomatoes, boiled shredded chicken, and the golden sauce is the Chipotle Peppers in adobo sauce. It's so simple, but we're gonna do it
blindfolded. I would like you to experience what it is to be blind, Miley, like I am. So would you mind putting this on?
I do mind, actually. I don't want to cut myself, but because I'm such a risk taker, we're gonna do it. All right, here goes. Pray for me. I don't want to get cut. Okay, mama. So first I gotta feel where all my stuff is. Okay, so Eva is cutting tomatoes and I am cutting onions. And we're trying to shred it very thin. And by the way mine feels, it is not thin. This is really hard. I'm going really slow.
You know what, Miley? A lot of people think because I look normal and I don't look blind, they think that I could see something, even if it's just a tiny bit. So why don't I just go ahead and put on my blindfold? What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
That way nobody thinks we're cheating. Do you have yours?
Yep, I put it on.
I can't tell, so you know. Actually, Mom, cutting onions is always a hard thing for me because it burns the crap out of my eyes. So I actually, this is a blessing. It's not affecting my eyes whatsoever.
I know, that's a good thing, huh? I should wear them all the time. Want me to help you with the other half?
Yes.
I'm gonna pass it to
Well,
you.
here's one, because I'm almost. I think so. Hey, I didn't do so bad.
You didn't?
Yeah, and look at you, you're going so fast. What the heck? You're such a natural mom.
You know how they say, once you've done it for so many years, you can do it with your eyes closed, Millie.
That is true. See, she is amazing. And now my eyes are starting to burn up.
Because you took your blindfold off.
Because I took my blindfold off. Oh my gosh. All right, so now that we've completed shredding the onions, Eva's gonna finish tomatoes. And really for every onion you use, you wanna use a tomato equally. So we've used so far 5 onions and we've been cutting 5 tomatoes. I have boiled a chicken, a whole chicken, and Eva has hand shredded almost all of it, but we still got a little bit more to go, so I'm gonna shred the rest of this chicken to add to the TiNGA. And we usually like to use these big red hot house tomatoes, right Mama?
Yes.
And you wanna use sweet onions or white onions?
Sweet.
Sweet onions, there is a difference in the flavor. You wanna shred it very thin. You want the chicken shredded very thin because this is going to be topped on top of a tostada. So Mom, do you remember our first conversation?
Yes, I remember David called me when he was with you in school in Florida and said, Mom, please teach my friend Miley how to make this TiNGA because I miss your cooking. I said, okay, put her on the phone, I'll tell her. And I told her step by step. And how did it turn out for you, Miley, the first time you made it?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I ate it like soup and David laughed at me the whole time. David's my husband, for those of you that don't know. We've been married 14 years. We became friends because the man was clearly starving. I could see his cheekbones popping out of his face. And so every day I'd make these extravagant dishes. A day I made like a chicken curry saute and I asked him if he wanted some. And then after that, he made a deal with me. He said, hey, if you cook all my meals, I will buy the groceries. And I was like, that's a good deal. Let's call your mom right now. And so I learned some really good Mexican cooking through you, whom you learned through your mom. How long have you been blind?
14 years last month, January.
Wow. Yeah, so right after we got married, Eva was going through blindness and we were there to be with you and walk through that with you. And that was a really hard time, but you are so amazing. And I've just seen you come through the most hard things. And all right, Mom, so first things first, what do we need?
Oil in a pan.
Oil and a pan. So we've got that. Let's walk over to the stove, put it on high. What do you think?
High.
Okay, so I'm gonna eyeball it because I never measure anything. And we'll add the onions first, right?
Yes, once the oil gets hot, you can add the onions.
And now Eva's dropping in a couple of onions,
But it's
slices,
not sizzling.
but it's not sizzling, which means
It's not ready.
it's not hot. So how did you and Paco meet?
I signed up to wait on a waiting list to receive him. And then they called me a year and a half later and asked if I didn't mind having a male dog instead of a female like I had requested. And then when I found out his name, I fell in love with him.
Paco is his name, and he's just the sweetest little pup.
Patient, very patient.
But you had to wait for so long. You had to wait for him to be born. You had to wait for him to get through the raising process, the training process. Oh, I hear the onions sizzling.
They're starting to sizzle.
And I want you to come in a little bit closer so you could see when the onions are actually ready. All right, so the onions, we want it caramelized but not brown. So we want it to have that clear look to it. And then we'll go to the next step in adding the tomatoes. But for now, we're gonna continue to babysit it. We're gonna keep stirring it. We haven't left. Eva's been here just stirring away. So you met Paco, you said a year and a half you waited.
Yes.
What happened after that?
So I was called in and was told that I would be going to Guide Dogs for the Blind. This May will be 2 years.
What? Really? Has it been 2 years?
Yes,
it doesn't feel like that.
already. So 2019, I received him in May, and I went over for a really tough training for 2 weeks. And
Wow.
they gave him to me, and I was so excited.
So what does the training look like when you receive a guide dog?
Everything is timing. You have to rush to eat, relieve him, to take him for walks, to train in the streets, in non-sidewalk streets, and it was just a really tough experience in the city and the buses. It was pretty hectic for me, but
Yeah.
we did it. Yeah, he's very smart.
He is very smart, and you guys had to build a relationship together basically, right? So you spend that 2 weeks. He's already trained, right?
Yes, he's already
So he
trained.
comes to you trained, but you still, when you meet, you still have to get to know each other, get used to being together, learning how to give him commands. That would be a little scary, right?
Yes, and it was very tough for me because at the same time I was being filmed with him because he was chosen as a puppy that was followed since he was born to be a guide dog and to see if he was able to pass all the requirements for a dog to become a guide.
And if you guys want to see the full story, he is on Disney Plus. I can't guarantee that you will have a dry eye because I cried, my kids cried. Everybody that I've had watch this show have cried. DM me for details. Mom, what about you? What about your story? How did you find out that this was something that was going to be life altering?
Well, I was minding my own business, going to work, trying to raise 2 daughters at the same time like everybody else.
How old were you?
I was 24 years old.
Wow.
When I realized there was something wrong with my sight at night, and after 2 optometrists, and they referred me to the ophthalmologist at the Doheny Eye Institute in California, and I went and had a conference with 10 doctors, and they decided that I had retinitis pigmentosa.
And what is that?
Well, the doctor told me when he was walking me to my car that it was a degenerative disease that led to blindness. And I was in disbelief, but they were right. I started losing my night vision quickly, and it started to affect my day vision, and then I decided to stop driving at 30 years old.
Wow.
Because I just didn't want to hurt anybody. And
Yeah.
then I lost my sight throughout 24 years. I lost my sight and eventually lost it in 2007.
So you had 2 daughters when you started to have these symptoms.
Yes.
And then you got diagnosed. But then you also got pregnant again because you had my husband, David.
Yes.
So what was your vision like when you were pregnant with David?
I had tunnel vision
Oh,
during the
wow.
day. At night, I couldn't see anymore. I pretty much couldn't see anymore, and I wouldn't even try to drive.
Wow.
But when David was born, I probably drove like maybe 5 years after that, and then I stopped.
So you were able to see his face still.
Oh yes, I was able to see his face.
And you somehow raised 3 kids.
Yes.
But as you can see, Eva is so independent. I mean, she has kept on. She has gone through, everything. All the training, all the education she could find and get her hands on. She's a resourceful woman. And she's standing here today in my kitchen cooking a very classic Mexican dish, and now you guys know what it is because it's not really offered in most restaurants. As you can see too, the onions are starting to clear.
Caramelize? Yes.
Caramelize. We don't want to burn them, but we do want them to get clear in color so we could add the tomatoes and go to the next step. Can you tell when it's the right time, Mom?
Yes, and I think it's the right time now, Mommy.
I think you are right, Mama. It is clear. How do you know? Okay, I'm gonna start putting in the tomatoes, and she's gonna stir it all up. Again, super easy. It's just all about being patient and just going with the process.
And it smells amazing already, and it's just onions.
Yeah, so when the tomatoes have cooked down some, you're gonna notice that there's gonna be a lot more liquid in the pot because it's becoming tomato sauce, and it's gonna mix super well, simmer really well with the onions. You're gonna smell it. I mean, you can't escape the amazingness of TiNGA. So while this is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and blend the Chipotle peppers that are in an adobo sauce, and we are going to puree that so that we could add it as the key ingredient to the flavoring of this recipe. It smells so good. It looks like it's starting to simmer down really well. I'm just gonna give it a really good stir overall. And the tomatoes are cooking very nicely, but it's not quite ready. I think we need like another minute. And as far as the Chipotle sauce, if you didn't notice, I put a little bit of chicken broth in there just to get movement in the blender because we're gonna add it into the pot anyways after we add the chicken. Time to put in the chicken. So we're gonna add shredded chicken, and if you don't mind, Mama, I'm gonna just stir it in.
No, go ahead.
So we'll add the Chipotle pepper sauce next.
Yes.
After we stir in the chicken, or do we do it all at once?
You could put it all at once.
All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna move this over a little bit.
Okay.
And I put 2 cans because we have so much. You guys can do half a chicken if you'd like, but we can actually save some and freeze it and reheat it for later. And because I don't want to miss out on any of this spiciness, I'm gonna add a little bit of chicken broth to get the rest of it going. And I'm gonna pour in chicken broth with the rest of the Chipotle. Okay, so salt to taste, you guys, salt to taste. This is actually a pretty healthy dish. So we're gonna stir this up and mix it really well, and you'll see the colors changing too. Mom, can you smell all this deliciousness?
Gosh.
I wish you guys could smell all the flavors going on right now. As you can see, the colors here are amazing. The TiNGA's ready. Can you see that difference in the color? All I did was stir it and added salt to taste, and it's gonna taste amazing. There's rice, there's Mexican crema, and Mom, what's the difference between sour cream and Mexican crema?
Yeah, the name says sour cream.
Sour cream, but then Mexican crema is creamier. It has this rich flavor. Yeah. We are going to plate and eat tostada, sour cream, or Mexican crema. You wanna put that on the tostada like this, then add your TiNGA on top, and you just need a little scoop, spread it out. Then I'm gonna add a scoop of rice on the side. You can have it on the tostada as well.
Top it with a beautiful green lettuce.
Yes.
It could be romaine, it could be green leaf lettuce.
So you're getting crunch on top, crunch on the bottom. Look at that beautiful goodness. Voila.
Here we go.
First bite. A toast to you. Welcome to Louisville.
Thank you.
To you and Paco. Bite.
Thank you. Spicy.
The rice is perfect.
Yeah. Everything's delicious. My goodness. You guys gotta try it.
Adios.
Bye. Enjoy.